Alright, welcome to Comics ReMIXed. I am David Sanchez, here with Junior Ruiz. And you guys can't see it, but he is all Joker and Harley'd out. He's got the Joker Converse. I'm not going to tell him to take off his shoes. Damn, Junior. Hey, Junior, whoa. Calm down.
It's there. It's there.
Getting too excited here.
It's there. I'm matching today.
Yeah. So, interesting stuff going on. I was actually on the Devil's Due site. I don't know if you guys ever stopped by and check it out, but the publisher of Devil's Due, he actually
almost hit you in the face.
I know, man. That was dangerous. That was dangerous. My child's here. She would have been scared.
Would you have been scared? She's eating Oreos.
She's eating Oreos. I would have been unconscious. She would have been eating Oreos.
Daddy, more Oreos.
So, I was on Devil's Due. Josh Blaylock, he's putting up his video blogs, and he comes up with an interesting subject that we actually discussed in our earlier episodes, and it's about where a publishing company fits in today, in today's market. His take being the publisher and kind of owning up to the fact that publishing companies, that old way of thinking is just getting pushed away, and he actually says obsolete.
Okay, now let me stop you there. Define old way of thinking versus what they're thinking now.
That they were the creative house. That they are the house of ideas. Okay, they hire the creative. Where now, you could pretty much go on a I guess I would call it a self-funding site. He defined it a lot better. But you could actually go on a Kickstarter. You could get your own table at a con. You could go to a print shop. There's tons of print shops out there to help you print out a book. There's web comics. You don't even have to print anything, really. You save on a lot of cost right there. Materials. If you can't afford all the brushes and inks, digital. Get on Photoshop. You don't have to use a Wacom. You can use the mouse. That's a lot harder, but you can. And so what does he do now? As a publishing company, well, what is he doing
you
now?
asking me? I don't know.
No, but seriously, this is something we all have to ask ourselves. What is Marvel going to do now? How are they going to deal with moving into the web comics? We even talked about, like, does this mean eventually, 10 years down the line, or maybe we're going to be in our 90s and we're not going to be reading books anymore? It's all going to be
by then.
Damn. All right.
If I make it to 90, man, that's a miracle.
Wow. Downer. But I hope you do, man.
I won't.
I hope you do.
I won't.
Yeah. You probably won't. Me as accident prone as I am, I probably won't either.
I'm gonna go 75, the highest.
That's realistic. I like that.
Highest, man.
Junior really is realistic.
I got 45 years to go.
Yeah. But so as a publishing company, I just want to really just answer and respond to what he was putting up. I really do believe as a publishing company, you become more of a scout now, scouting out the new talent that's out there that really is taking more ownership of what they're doing, buying their own trademarks, and maybe as a creative, it probably even gets to a point where you could license out your idea and still retain ownership of what you got. Like, why do I have to go into Marvel and sell them my character? Why not license it to them and work for them periodically? You know, if anything, it's part of a lot of the foundation that Image laid out for the self-publisher. But now even then, they're going to have to deal with this too.
Right.
Yeah, like they can't keep every creative that can't make it into Marvel or DC.
It's like, I don't know if I was talking to you about it or what, but I remember saying that Image, because everybody was like, oh, Image, independence. With the way Image has been over the last 20 years, I don't consider Image an independent company anymore. They're the number 3, you know, hands down. And right behind them is Dark Horse. Yeah, because even with Image, you still had to send submissions in. Right. To me, independent now is like, I wouldn't even say as far as IDW, like maybe Boom, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
But I mean, you've got a lot of the really, really underground companies that you've never even heard of, like Zenescope, you know, I consider them an underground or independent company, excuse me.
Yeah.
Big Dog Inc., you know, it's an independent company. But yeah, Image, Devil's Due to me, I'd say they're kind of on the border because of what they did. It made them, you know, remember when they were doing G.I. Joe, we met them in Baltimore?
Yeah.
They could have been, Devil's Due, if they would have kept the ball rolling, they could have been right now what IDW is, I think.
Well, that's actually one thing that Josh brought up. That one of the things that will help a publishing company survive is to license properties, and that's what they've been doing with GI Joe. You got Dynamite. They're licensing everything that
The pulp characters.
Yeah, all the pulp characters. But even shifting into a marketing company, like strictly marketing company, like publishers just go into marketing company. They go to the creative. Like, we love your book. We love your idea. These are our pitch. We got these 3 pitches lined up. These are all the directions that we could take your character in. This is what the type of distribution and network that we could offer you, that you could go, and you could go farther beyond your own Facebook network, beyond your Twitter, and we could help you grow and flourish into this, which might be safer if the comic is a bust.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because you're not, since they're mostly marketing it, and or, okay, maybe they want to take more ownership and actually license it and hire their own in-house and contract their own people to take it over. But if it's a bust, and all you're doing is marketing for this, you could just drop them. Be like, this isn't working out for us. You go your own way, and good luck to you.
Right.
Less risk. So now Josh is thinking about, how am I going to restructure Devil's Due to survive, where everything's going. What would you say as someone working in the shop? What would you say is like something that like you're feeling, the vibes that you're getting from this like electronic age?
Some people come in and they buy they favor the combo packs now, especially because DC puts them out. Marvel doesn't give you a choice. Marvel's just like, this is the price of our book, the digital code's in the back, you get it. DC gives you that choice, but they charge you that $1 for it. So whether you buy it online for $1, or if you come in and buy the physical copy, you're still paying that $1 for the digital. We have some subscribers who prefer the digital over the regular one.
Yeah.
I personally, I buy them both just because they're variant covers, but that's me. Marvel, as far as really cool digital, and this is where I like really support them. They've been putting out. Let's see, I know it's on the rack here.
Oh, going into the racks.
Going in the rack.
Going into the racks.
Like, here's an example this week. Marvel's been doing a lot of hardcovers called Season 1s. This week they put out Doctor Strange Season 1. The Season 1s are pretty much just updating the origins for modern times, not really tweaking too much to piss fanboys off. And you're paying $24.99 for the hardcover, 25% off here at Dreamland every day. But on top of that,
a cheap plug, Junior. That was cheap.
I had to. You're getting a free digital code for the entire hardcover.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So imagine you're paying 99 cents for a 22-page book, a comic. Imagine you're paying this for an original story, mind you, with a hardcover.
See,
or with a digital code, I should say. So I think Marvel, as far as this goes, Marvel's doing good. As far as their single issues, they should be tweaked here and there.
Yeah.
But this is where Marvel's on the right path with stuff like this.
See, now as a consumer, though, that is one issue that we've discussed already, and something that Josh is probably trying to plan around through, is how do you deal with webcomic pricing? You could go to an indie publisher and practically get it for free because they probably just want the money off of the advertising that, from people driving into their site. So what do you do about that? You go from, you're used to selling a book for like $5 nowadays and wrestle with, doing it for $1 a book, and then you still have your costs of your artists and your writers. Wow,
Yeah,
actually, imagine that, like me as an artist, like wow, like what
my
how
question
does
to
affect
that to digital is like, when does the profit start to kick in?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly how many copies of this web comic or digital version do you have to sell, as opposed to a physical copy, in order to see that profit? Because with the physical copies, you'll see the profit a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. But with the digital being so low, 99 cents most cases, and like you said, some are even free, where's the profit?
Or to counterpoint, because you're no longer dealing in print, or maybe you're limited in print, there's less cost for distribution, less people on the road shipping your product, less people. You don't have to contract someone like Diamond.
Right.
You don't have to do that. So you cut out the middleman. You cut out your shipping. The actual print shop, you can focus on exclusive properties.
Yeah.
You know, hard covers, chromium covers. Maybe you'll be able to splurge a little bit more on chromium covers, and so maybe that's the cutoff right there. It's
Right.
like you break even on the web, and then bank on your exclusive stuff, limited edition,
Right.
collector stuff.
Now going back to Devil's Due, I mean, only pretty much Josh can answer this, and we can only speculate. My question to you, where do you think that Devil's Due hit that bump in the road that caused them to go into seclusion for a couple years?
Oh, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. All I could do is just really answer based off of what I've been reading up on Devil's Due, and
I'd like to get Josh on the show.
yeah, I mean, we should throw this up on his page.
Yeah.
See if he could respond to that. But other than that, all I could say is,
Josh, if you're watching this, we'd like to get you in on this show if you don't mind.
yeah, that was a good one, Junior. All I could think of is, I'm glad that you have a publisher kind of owning up to the fact that this is where we are, this is where we plan on going. Kind of owning up to the fact that things are changing.
Mm-hmm. Now, I guess a part B to that question. Now that Devil's Due is making, you say a comeback, what do you, in your opinion, as an artist,
Okay.
think of it that way. What do you think Devil's Due needs to do to compete in today's market as opposed to what it was almost 10 years ago?
Well, from an artist point of view,
Yeah.
I would probably like to see a lot of diversity with their creative. See, that's the thing about webcomics. You'll have to really drive people to your site.
Mm-hmm.
You know, steer them to your site to buy your product. So I would probably see a lot less exclusives, which
Okay.
sucks, like the exclusive contracts,
Okay.
and more.
Glad you cleared that up because I'm thinking variant
Oh,
colors.
no, yeah, that's why I had to point that out. But like, which would suck for like your huge veterans that seek that. It's kind of like being a teacher and you want tenure.
Yeah.
But
And then you go on strike.
now, if anything, well, that's a whole other discussion.
Has nothing to do with comics, so
But
don't belong here.
probably see a lot more variety of artists. Like here's G.I. Joe, 3 issues, David Finch. That'd be pretty cool. You know, a lot more exclusivity. Or going back to steering a lot of these independent creators, say, hey, do you want to jump on this book for a few issues?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like here's this property, you know, here's this comic coming out, and we have Straight Up from Baltimore, yada yada, doing 5 issues of it.
Right. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Drive locals.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of social networking, a lot of you got a lot of local businesses going into it. Maybe that's a good way to feed into and embed yourself into a lot of these local communities. You know, a lot of the thing about self-publishing comics and talking about them from a marketing standpoint is they could pile up the numbers and see where their biggest demographic is, where a lot of their buying and selling power is, and maybe that's a good way for them to see themselves in there.
Right. You just had the T-Rex arms. That's cool. Well, like I said, Josh, if you're watching this, we'd love to get you on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, come in one morning, some night. You could buy his pizza. That'd be great.
Hell, we'll even go to you if that's what it takes, you know.
Yeah, so
It's
expect.
local. He's on 21st Street, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chi-Town.
Yeah. So.
I don't know what that was. That was messed up.
David trying to be hard.
No, because I switched that. I was like, no gang signs. So I did something weird, and then I put my hand back down.
Anyway, see, now you're just feeding it. You know, no gang signs. You're feeding into the stereotype that most Hispanics from Chicago are
I
gang
know,
related.
and it was just
Look! What is this?
It was just
Stop! Just
that's
put your hands in your
Mexican.
pocket.
That is Mexican.
Anyway,
All right.
so there's that. Moving on, I've got something I wanted to talk about. You know what happens. You haven't read it yet, but we got to touch upon this because we followed it since pretty much its inception. Avengers versus X-Men.
Yes.
October 3rd, issue 12 ships, the final issue. It's the fallout, and the conclusion is, there's warning, spoiler alert. All right, we got to put that out there. In issue 11, Cyclops defeats Emma to take the rest of the Phoenix power for himself and becomes the Dark Phoenix, which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Yeah.
And in doing this, kills Xavier. You know, so now this is the second official time that Xavier's died. I mean, there was that time where the X-Men were on their own in the Outback because they thought Xavier was dead.
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
So they thought, and then him actually being is two separate things. So
Yeah.
I don't count that. But technically, this is his second death. The first one was they caused the Age of Apocalypse, where Legion killed him, which was in our time a classic story.
Epic. That was epic.
I don't care. That was one of those.
That was just great plotting.
Because a lot of '90s stories with Marvel, everybody's like whatever. But yeah, when you think about it that way, and it led to so much. It led to Onslaught. It led to the Heroes Reborn. But Jim Lee,
I'm smiling. That was just great writing.
Rob
that
Liefeld,
was a good time
back to
to
Marvel.
be in comics in
Right.
general.
Dude, we have to contact Rob Liefeld. And even if we can do a phone interview.
Yeah, we could do a Twitter.
Every
something,
episode,
whatever.
this guy's name comes up for some reason.
Anyways, Xavier dying.
Yes.
Cyclops.
Subject.
I have a few points to make. Do you
Go
want
ahead. Go ahead. Because I
Um,
read the issue, so you make your points. I can.
Okay, yeah. Okay, then explain this one to me. This is a continuity thing right here. Because I always thought that the Dark Phoenix could only be a woman. Because
No.
you could birth, because of the whole rebirth and the whole
Right.
creation and destruction thing, that it was more befitting to be a woman. That's how you unleash its full power.
That's what they've done over the years, but I think, considering the Dark Phoenix, is when you let the Phoenix actually take over.
Okay.
Compare it to the Venom symbiote. How Eddie Brock, well, not really Eddie, because Eddie gave into it, so that's the wrong example. But Peter, he always fought that the hunger that the
Okay.
symbiote had, and that's kind of what Flash Thompson.
Okay, yeah.
So that's kind of like the Phoenix host. Remember, before Jean became the Dark Phoenix, she knew that power was there, but she was fighting it.
Right.
And once you lose that fight, it consumes you. What are you smirking at?
Because my second point.
Okay.
All right, well, go ahead, finish.
So, you let it consume you, hence the Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
But technically, he did not become the Dark Phoenix until after he killed Xavier.
I like your use of quotations. Very proper use.
Try, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, second point that I bring up a lot. Now that Cyclops is the Dark Phoenix.
You know what?
No.
Go ahead.
Now that he's the damn Dark Phoenix, pardon my French, would we actually see him unleash his full potential?
That's a good question.
Now that Cyclops is the Dark Phoenix, will he do a lot more than just shoot rays out of his eyes?
Let's just shoot him out of his ass. I
Right?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, from what I was reading on interviews last night with Bendis, because of the whole all-new X-Men, he's like, dude, he screwed up the X-Men before he even got to an actual X-Men book, if you think about it. So as far as that Racer X looking character we saw in the Quesada Marvel Now promos, that is Cyclops. So there goes I hope Cyclops dies.
Okay, but still, give me one or the other.
Right.
He's not gonna die, then give me a full-on Cyclops.
The thing that it's going to bug me, and he brought it up, it's like, okay, now that he's the Dark Phoenix, he's killed Xavier, people are going to be torn again. Okay, well, he's still Cyclops. Let's remember all the good stuff he did. Let's forgive him because he was under the influence of the Phoenix. But here's the kicker. He put himself under that influence. So does that make him technically guilty? Now can those that say, well, he was under the power of the Phoenix, he wasn't himself.
Now, did he choose to take over the Phoenix because he didn't?
Yes.
He just didn't want anybody
He
else.
really- yeah.
No, was it a sacrificial move because he didn't want anybody else to do it? Like
He
you know what
saw
I mean?
that,
like with Jean, like all traumatized.
with Steve Rogers pulling out the Xavier card and saying, you know what, this is it, and Xavier says, I'm not standing down from you. This is gonna end. You're acting like a spoiled brat. That's when Scott was just like, you know what, I know what I need to do to get you guys to see my point. And that's when he choked out Emma, defeating her and taking the Phoenix Force from her, and having all this power, and him and Xavier just went at it, and he ended up killing Xavier. And then he's crying, and he's like, you see when he looks at the Avengers and the team, he's just like, you guys see what you made me do? You made me do this.
Oh, so
and
he's a
because
psychopath.
so because of that, that's when he snaps, and the very last page, he just goes crazy and releases all that power, and Beast looks at him and goes, he's turned into the Dark Phoenix.
Oh, but they might kill him. They have to stop the Dark Phoenix.
True.
Yeah. Even Jean Grey, she was actually out of comics for like the longest.
Right, but now you see Scott being a part of this Marvel. Now you're like, when does he
He's
come
a
in?
bad guy.
Because they said in the
Actually,
all-new X-Men,
Oh, sorry.
the past Scott is going to see what the current Scott has done.
Okay.
And being like, dude, really? I kill the guy who's a father to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, because he hasn't found out the bullcrap that his father does to him. Okay. Last point. How the X universe handles deaths.
What death?
Really? Like, no. But that's just it. Like, Professor X, that was pretty much overdue. That's one that I didn't even think of because the first time or even the second time he died, why not just let him go? Because really it just feels like he's just been drifting, like a drifter in the Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm.
They plug him into a storyline every now and then, maybe just to make a storyline seem relevant. Say, look, don't mess with the books. My daughter's here, she's playing with the books. And then even with Magneto, you know, he died how many times?
Was he really dead?
Well, that's just it. You slice off a guy's head. Leave him alone for a long time. Now, this is where I'm going with this. You're a big.
I still want to know how he came back from that.
Yeah, you're a big wrestling fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I was back
tonight. Night of Champions, only on pay-per-view.
Back in the heyday, I loved it. Let me tell you.
owes me some money now.
Let me tell you what's one of the great things that any wrestling company does is when a character goes out, like if they get injured or there's a storyline where, like, you know, back in the days, like they died or, you know, you got buried, you know, in a casket match or something. Yeah, you were gone for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
True, that's a money making character.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of bank you're getting off of them. You're gonna lose money by not having them on TV. Something. Okay, there's a loss.
They recoup though when that character comes back.
There's loss. No, actually, they don't lose because they build up from their stock.
That's true. Someone
else steps up. Someone else becomes like their new champion. Okay? And a lot of times, even when you get me,
yeah.
Or even at the same time, in the moment where that character is leaving / dying or just not going to be there for like a couple of years, at the same time, there's the build up for the new guy to come up. There's the rise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I don't understand why a comic book company, any comic book company, having such a huge stock of characters, can't deal with a character going away for a while.
Right.
Sure, you bank so much money off of Wolverine, and you oversaturate the crap out of him. Would it be actually so wrong to let him go away for a while? Just like this whole Sabretooth. Was he actually gone for a year? I don't even know.
More. It was way more than that.
Way more than that. And now he came back with clones. And then Professor X.
Turns out it was a clone that died, not the actual Sabretooth.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? Like how they explain it? Is it necessary to justify a character's disappearance because there was a clone or some kind of time travel lapse, some loophole, alternative dimension?
I will say this, in that interview, they were saying when they were plotting out AvX and all this stuff, they didn't plot it out with saying, okay, this is a big event, we need to kill somebody. It just, as they plotted it out, they felt it would affect the story more.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like, hey, let's make this because we need to kill somebody. It just developed over time.
And that's cool. That's cool, not needing to kill somebody just to sell a book.
Right.
That's cool. But deal with it, too.
What's his name? Axel Alonso said that as long as he's in charge, I'm not quoting him word for word, but something along the lines of Xavier is going to stay dead. They don't have plans on bringing him back. You count Xavier in the same bucket as Uncle Ben right now.
And that's fine.
That works.
Yeah,
they need to do stuff like that.
It does work. Someone else is going to step up. That same thing could be said or should have happened when Aunt May died, right?
Again, oh yeah.
Because
dude, you know she's married to Jonah's dad, right?
You know what? I don't know. Is Peter Parker still in high school?
No, he works at the university.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you know what I mean, though, right?
Aunt May is married to Jonah's dad.
Yeah,
making Peter and Jonah technically
related.
Family. That's funny. And Jonah's the mayor of New York, by the way.
That's cool too. That's growth.
Yeah,
character growth.
Yeah.
But you see what I mean? That was my only point. Is like deal with the character's death and letting someone else step up.
Right.
Why did we need the age of 52 to explain that you could do so much with your second and third tier characters?
Right.
Why did we need Marvel's line of Heroes for Hire to also explain that for them?
Very true.
It's unnecessary.
Very true.
Well, that was my point.
Point well made.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode, man.
Yeah.
kept it short this week. We still have a lot of editing to do as far as our Wizard World videos. If you've been paying attention, we've posted up a couple of interviews already. Art Baltazar, Corey Knable, Jen Broomhall, Kate Finnegan. Who else did we post? There's one more. Can't think off the top. James O'Barr.
Yeah. And I'm gonna just on a side note, I'm gonna get my car road trip ready because I really want to follow along a lot of these other cons. I'm not gonna get to go to Ohio, but I'm really pumped about it. Anybody else wanna follow me around with the camera? Let's do this.
Yeah, Dave is taking Comics Remix on the road. While I maintain it here on the home base for a little while. What?
Sadie's telling you that the telephone's ringing.
I know. That's all right. I'll call him back. But till then, yeah, this was 18. There's no point two this week, so enjoy it for what it is. Let's try to get Josh on the show. Try to get Rob to defend himself or whatever. So
wait. Rob is the Magic Johnson of the comic books. He doesn't need to defend himself. I'm not even kidding you. I'm pretty sure I explained what that means already, but that's a reference. He referenced
I'm not
himself
even gonna
as Magic Johnson.
All right, I'm not gonna say nothing.
Another episode in case you didn't catch it in early episodes.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is David Sanchez,
Junior Ruiz, and we'll see you guys next time.
Have a good week, people.
Peace.
Bye bye.